वावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणचक्षु श्रोत्रमतो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत निराकरणम् अस्त्वनिराकरणं मेस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। केनेषितं पतति प्रेषितं मनः केन प्राणप्रथमप्रैतियुक्तः केनेषितां वाचमिमां वदन्ति चक्षुश्रोत्रं कवुदेवो युनक्ति श्रोत्रस्य श्रोत्रं मनसो मनो यत् वाचोऽहवाचगु सवो प्राणस्य प्राणः चक्षुषक्षुरतिमुच्यधीरा प्रेत्यास्मान् लोकात् अमृता भवन्ति न तत्र चक्षुर्गच्छति न वाग्गच्छति नो मनो न विद्मो न विजानीमो यथैतदनुशिष्यात् अन्यदेव तद्विदिता तथो अविदितादति इति शुश्रुमपूर्वेषां येन तद्व्याचक्षिरे यद्वाचानभ्युदितं येन वागभ्युध्यते तदेव ब्रह्मत्वं विद्धि नेदं यदिदमुपासते यन्मनसा न मनुते येनाहुर्मनो मतम् तदेव ब्रह्मत्वं विद्धि नेदं यदिदमुपासते यच्चक्षुषा न पश्यति येन चक्षुगुंषि पश्यति तदेव ब्रह्मत्वं विद्धि नेदं यदिदमुपासते यच्छ्रोत्रेण न शृणोति येन श्रोत्रमिदगुं श्रुतम् तदेव ब्रह्मत्वं विद्धि नेदं यदिदमुपासते यत्प्राणेन न प्राणिति येन प्राणप्रणीयते तदेव ब्रह्मत्वं विद्धि नेदं यदिदमुपासते।
ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। The deepest mystery of life is the phenomenon of knowledge. The very phenomenon of knowledge is the deepest mystery. Why we say the phenomenon of knowledge is the mystery, is the deepest mystery, is because You can know everything except yourself. The knower cannot be known. The knower can never be known, because to know something means reduce it to an object. If you have to know something, you have to convert it into an object. You have to reduce it into an object. Now, how can you reduce yourself to an object? If you reduce yourself to an object, then who's seeing it? Very complicated. This is Kenopanisad. This is how it starts. So what is the attempt here? What you see as the subject, the person is reducing it to an object. Having reduced what you see as subject into an object, the question is who's seeing it? It is not you seeing yourself objectively. Please understand that. Sometimes we talk about seeing oneself objectively. I can see myself objectively. I can know what my emotions are. I can know what I'm thinking. I know where I'm going wrong. I know what I should do to correct myself. All this is knowing. All this is knowing oneself. No, sir. Kenopanisad is saying, if this is what you think knowing yourself means, revisit your understanding of what is knowing yourself. Because the very process of knowing, you have to make yourself an object. If you make yourself an object, then who is the subject? Keneshitam padati preshitam manaha. Kena. Now the question is, all that he thought as the subject, he has converted into an object, and asking, what is it that is behind that? So, what is the ultimate subject that can never be reduced to an object is the question. Again, what is that ultimate subject that can never be reduced to an object? And if it cannot be reduced to an object, what it is, how will I know it? Then what it is? Because to know it means I have to convert it into an object. So I'm asking about the subject that cannot be noted. I can know you because I am here, you are there outside. You can know me because you are there and I am there outside. You become an object. But I cannot know myself because I cannot make myself an object. I can never encounter myself in any objective way. Or what all people call as objectivity is not actually, it's not actually objectivity. It is just dividing themselves into two, and one division is looking at the another division, that's all. It is like the right hand looking at the left hand, as it were. There is no actual knowing at all, because even when you look at yourself objectively, in the limited sense that people talk about knowing yourself, is that you? Is that you? It's not you, because knowing that something else you discover about yourself later. It means you have never, it means the one who claims I know everything never knows oneself. The one who claims I know is fundamentally ignorant. This is the pure Upanishadic Vedantic sense. The moment I say I know everything, but I do not know myself, is a definition of ignorance. I know everything, but I do not know myself. I know everybody else's name, but I don't know my name. I know where everybody else's house is, but I'm on the road not knowing where my house is. But at least you know others how no, sir. That knowledge is of no use. Why? Because the paradox. What is the paradox? The self is subjective and the subjectivity cannot be made objective. Because in the true sense, the subject always remains unknowable. In the true sense of the term, the subject always remains unknowable. That is why when you are asking about the subject, the Guru says, na vidmo, na vijanimo, yataita anusishyat. I do not know it, nor do I know how to teach it. The sciences, the worldly knowledges wants to know about the object. Vedanta says know the subject. Vedanta says knows the subject. Since the self cannot be made objective, it cannot be known. Since it cannot be known, science concludes saying it doesn't exist. So, according to science, it's all mechanisms. It's all chemicals. It's all a few things. It's all a few elements. It's all a few chemicals gotten together in a certain proportion. They call consciousness as an epiphenomenon. That's the word they use. Epiphenomenon means byproduct. The chemicals, the instruments, and all that assembled together, and because of this assembly came life. And then when you separate the instruments, life also goes out. So consciousness becomes a byproduct. So according to the objective sciences, death means total death. Nothing remains after death. That's why we are also afraid of death. Because we are also of the same notion only. Because nothing exists after death. Vedanta comes and says, what you call as consciousness, what you call as God is completely different, because we are trying to know something without reducing it into an object. We are trying to know something without reducing it into an object. The logic will say, the sciences will say, all the materialistic sciences, the logic, everything will say, this very attempt is madness, this very attempt is foolishness. The very attempt to know the self without reducing it into an object itself is foolishness. Because who will be there to know it? And what you call as consciousness and all is not a separate entity, because anyway, it's a byproduct of, Therefore, what you people call as Brahman and this consciousness and Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi Nedam Yadidam Upasate, it is Sushrima Purvesham and all is just a blabbering, emotional prattle. People just get brainwashed by it, and they go on repeating it again and again and again. And we are also doing the You are also sitting here and doing the same thing. Huh? Knowledge always springs from a doubt. Take it from another angle. The starting process of knowledge is question. Are you able to understand this statement? The starting point of knowledge is a question. Question implies a doubt. Doubt implies seeing something, not understanding it. Again, I repeat. All knowledge implies question. Questioning implies a doubt. Doubt implies you see something, but you don't know. Then only you doubt it. Are you able to follow? Supposing if you don't see anything at all, can you doubt? Can you ask a question about it? Are you okay till now? The very questioning is what? Asking for a proof. Asking for a proof. Therefore, in the materialistic way of thinking, everything needs proof because everything can be doubted. The Upanishad just plays with two words. That is beyond viditam, aviditam. Known, that is beyond viditam and aviditam. Ishitam, preshitam. Beautiful two words. Adike we didn't do justice. And these two words also we cannot do justice. Viditam, aviditam. These two words also we cannot do justice to these words. Oh my God. Beautiful words. Everything needs proof because everything can be doubted. But one thing you cannot doubt. What? The questioner can never be doubted. The subject can never be doubted, because if the subject is doubted, then who's doubting that? Who's asking that? Who's asking that question? That is why most of the thinking, they say, start with a doubt, get a proof, and then believe in it. Start with the doubt, prove it, and then believe in it. Upanishad says, even God can be doubted. That's why you can ask for proof for God. You can ask for proof for Brahman. You can ask for proof of Brahman. You can ask proof for God. You can ask proof for everything. But one thing you cannot ask proof is the I. One thing that you cannot ask for proof is the I. The question is, what is that I? This person is having a problem with that which is so evident but not known. That is Upanishad. Venkat, Monday morning, yarkum vela illa. I don't know why nobody has got any work on Monday morning. Monday morning, everybody is supposed to be working. Isn't it? Vijayarangan, vela illa anniki. Sunil, Vijay, very smart. They come to office and they sit and learn this and then continue. They're very smart. Why will they want to sit and discuss all this? I do not know whether I am or not. Can you? Even to get into a confusion like this, you have to be there. How can there be a confusion without you? You cannot say, I don't believe that I am. Because even to Even not to believe, someone is needed to be there. It goes in circles. It goes in circles. And this person is anything that goes in circles, intellectual fatigue, and we give up. This person is not giving up because it's not a circle. Somewhere he is missing something. Somewhere that person is believing that something is missed. The English philosopher Berkeley, he says, I cannot believe that you are here. You may be just a dream. Look at the viditam, aviditam. I cannot believe that you are here. You may be just a dream. And there is no way to prove that you are a dream. Are you able to follow the second part? First part would know Vedanta, but second part is actual Vedanta. The second part of it is actual Vedanta. Because, and there is no way to prove that you are not a dream. Because when I dream of people such as you, he says. It means what? In a dream, the dream appears real. No way that you can doubt it. Even a very absurd, illogical, irrelevant dream appears real. So there is no way to prove whether you are real or not. What all these people did is they started the inquiry with the little I. They started the inquiry with the little I and they came to the beautiful conclusion. What is the conclusion? There is no way to prove whether there is this little I is there or not. You cannot say it is there, neither you can say it is not there. Upanishad will turn back and say all that in our kindergarten classes, we finished those courses. We finished those courses in the kindergarten classes by calling it as Mithya. The small I is the Mithya because you cannot say anything about it. You cannot say it is there. Neither you can say it is not there. Even those who deny God can't deny the I. Upanishad says you deny God, doesn't matter because what you think as God is not God anyway. Tadeva brahmatvam viddhi nedam yadidam upasate. Tadeva brahmatvam viddhi nedam yadidam upasate. Remember, Tadevam Brahma is the Mahavakya of Kenopanisad. When we come there, we'll discuss it. Just every Upanishad will have a Mahavakya. Tadeva Brahma is you are. Tat eva Brahma. That alone is. That is the Mahavakya of Kenopanisad. When we come there, we will discuss that. Just as it's a passing thought. Even those who deny God cannot deny the I. Why? Because what you think as God is only a symbolic representative of something, and anything symbolic will have an absurdity to it. Anything symbolic will have an absurdity to it, and you can always take up the absurdity and ridicule it and prove it is not there. But one thing you cannot disprove, one thing you cannot do anything is what? You cannot do anything with the I. Because the I is self-evident, it is self-revealing, it is self-enlightening. It is self-revealing. First, it is self-evident. Number two, it is self-revealing. It is self-enlightening. The enlightening, self-revealing is where the knowledge doesn't divide. What people call as knowledge, in Vedanta we call as ignorance because it has three divisions. All worldly knowledges have three divisions. What are the three divisions? The knower, the known, the knowledge. Sanskrit have beautiful words for all this. I'm not getting into those. If I get into that, then it becomes a different story altogether. All knowledges divides. Here is the knowledge that is here we are trying to understand something that which cannot be divided, that undivided. Remember, the meaning of the word Advaitam means it cannot be divided. Advaita means that which cannot be divided. That's why it's a non-two. Are you able to follow the meaning of Advaita itself means? Advaita means that which cannot be divided. What is the division? The moment knowledge comes in, division has already started because knowledge can happen only in division. What are the division? The three divisions. The knower, the known, the actual knowledge. This knowing here is not divided into three. It is that one. And that one, I do not know how to teach. I do not know it. I do not know how to teach it. Then you should have stayed quiet. Then comes the quintessence of the Upanishads. Viditam, aviditam. Viditam, aviditam. Shrotrasya shrotram, viditam, aviditam. Just have these pairs of words, that's all. You can sit and contemplate for janmas together on these words. Ishitam, preshitam. Keneshitam, patati, preshitam, manaha. Ishitam, preshitam. In the question, two words. Beautiful two words. Shrotrasya, shrotram. Viditam, aviditam. Rest of the Upanishad is, we are all very familiar with the rest of the Upanishads. Rest of the Upanishads very, it's not that difficult. The undivided knowledge, how can it be known? It cannot be known. A blind person and a person with eyes, both are not different as far as self is concerned. As far as Brahman is concerned, both are on the same plane only. Na tatra chakshur gacchati, na vag gacchati, no manaha. Tatra, na tatra chakshur gacchati. The blind person also can't see. The person with eyes also can't see. Okay, if the blind person can't see, it is understandable. If the person with eyes also can't see it, it means whether you are blind or Ram Subramaniam, Purida, whether you have the functioning eyes or the blind eyes, as far as the self is concerned, it has no. But the human nature is what? In wanting to know, and in wanting to know, if you have to know something, this is the technical aspect, which we'll study for the next few minutes. I try somehow not to get into the technicalities, but Upanishad doesn't give us it's not leaving. All human knowledges happens, the primary source is the senses. Pratyaksha Pramana. It is the primary, it is a Pratyaksha Pramana. What science does in order to know things, it makes the senses more and more powerful. Do you know that? Science wants to know, and the senses that we have is not powerful enough to know. Therefore, they go on trying to make the senses more and more and more powerful so that they can know. What does it mean? With this hand, the human knew can't reach the moon. Therefore, the rocket is an extension of the hand. The rocket is nothing but the extension of the hand. With the legs, I cannot. With the legs, I cannot. At the most, I can run for few minutes. That's all. With the how much can I run? Okay. Have you ever seen any species running a marathon in nature? And human being thinks fit means running marathon. No, I don't know. I'm not saying it's not. No species can run a marathon. It will not run like that. It will not run. It will run for a few meters. It will run for a few hundred meters, and then it stops. Even today, they are saying if you want to have real fitness, go short burst of run. Don't run. Don't keep running continuously and all, because it is not. Because that's not. Actually. So, what human being does with the eyes you can't see, therefore extension of eyes, microscope and telescope. What with the eyes you can't see, you can see through the microscope and you can know. What you can't see through the eyes, extension of telescope, and you can know. So it means all human discoveries is what? Do you know that? But sir, how can it be all these great inventions and technology? How can it be ridiculed like this? Isn't it? I shout, how much I can shout? At the most 20 feet it can reach. At the most 30 feet it can reach. 100 feet it can reach. From here, I have to make a call to a person living in Mars. What do? I can't shout and say hello, no. So what do I do? Extension of the telephone is nothing but an extension of. So each and every instrument is nothing but trying to make the senses powerful. Why? Why do we want to make the senses more and more powerful? Because it is through the senses alone we gather data. There is no other method for us to gather data other than the senses. That's why it's called Pratyaksha Pramanam. After gathering data, the other Pramanams come into play. What are the other Pramanams? Upamanam, Anumanam. After Pratyaksham has done its job, people understood that actually senses are not really dependable sources of data also, because what you see is not what it is. Therefore, you have to again sit and work on the data that the senses have. If what you see is what it is, inference is not needed at all. You know that? Inference is needed only because the data given by the senses is not what it is. Data analytics. What is that? Data analytics? I don't know, whatever it is. Data analysis, data analytics. Sensors just keep gathering data and data and data, keep giving it insight. So somebody has to sit and sort out the data so that some sense can be made out of that data. First thing, data by itself is not knowledge. Data by itself is not knowledge. Vijay, you are able to follow, no? If data by itself is knowledge, then why sit and analyze it? You know it directly, no? So data by itself is not knowledge. So pratyaksha pramanam gather data. And data by itself is not knowledge. And then what do? You sit and infer. You want to make some sense out of the data. And whatever sense you want to make out of data is called inference. Even that inference is not a conclusive knowledge. Even inference is not a conclusive knowledge. Why it is not a conclusive knowledge? Because when the senses become slightly more powerful, when you get a more powerful telescope, when you get a more powerful microscope, what you known previously is not right, this appears. So there is a knowledge which appears to be knowledge there is a knowledge which appears to be knowledge but can be doubted and can be proven wrong. That is the worldly knowledge. That is viditam. That is viditam. A knowledge which appears to be knowledge, but then it can be proven wrong. Where it will end, there is no end here. That is why they say Anantaha Vedaha. Ananta vai Vedaha. The worldly knowledges are infinite. Anantam. And then the same Veda, next sentence they say, there is Vedantam. End also. Previous sentence, Anantaha vai Vedaha. And the next sentence, and there is the Antam to the Veda. Now the question is, are we focusing on the Ananta part of the Veda or the Anta part of the Veda? The Ananta part of the Veda is worldly knowledges, all worldly knowledges. The Anta part of Veda is knowing the subject, knowing the I. In order to know the I, not E-Y-E, the I. I Mathemati Pesanda, we will not know which. I'm getting confused, not knowing whether I'm saying I or I. Vijay, purida edavudhu? Yanake purila, he's understanding something. I'm saying I don't understand what I'm saying, and he is saying he understanding. Very good. When all the senses, na tatra chakshur gacchati, na vag gacchati, lo manaha, it means what? All the pramanams are useless. All the pramanams are useless. All these pramanams have to be left behind. Because useless in relation to this subject. Please understand, per se we are not calling it as useless. It is useless in relation to this inquiry. It is useless. Then what do we do? Iti sushruma purvesham enas tadvyacha chakshire. We have no other option than going by the sushruma purvesham. The purvesham has taught us this, and this is what I know. Then the question is, do you know it or you are memorizing it and saying it? Iti sushruma purvesham has two meanings. One is, do you know it? If you know it, why can't you say I know it? Iti sushruma purvesham means you do not know it, you have just memorized somebody's knowledge and repeating it. Iti sushruma purvesham. Are you able to follow the sequence? I don't know whether there's any sequence or not, but in my eyes there is a sequence. There is a beautiful sequence. Iti sushruma purvesham. Iti sushruma purvesham. Why? Because when all pramanams are negated, when all pramanams becomes useless, to see the to see the capital I. What do we rely upon? Whom do we rely upon? Iti Sushruma Purvesham. Iti Sushruma Purvesham. They become the only sources of knowledge. But you know it, no. Why can't you say, I know it? No. That is the typical, that's a very typical thing. That's a very typical Upanishadic statement. We do not know it, nor do we know how to teach it. That which can be known by the mind can be taught by the mind. Again, that which can be known by the mind alone can be taught by the mind. But if it is impossible to know it by the mind, how to teach it? Because all teaching happens through the mind. See, when we say mind here, it means mind, intellect, subtle body, etc. We're just using the words very, very liberally. If it is impossible to know it by the mind, how to teach it? It cannot be taught, but it can be infused. It cannot be taught, but it can become infectious. So what the guru is doing to the disciple, passing on the infection. That's all. Because it cannot be taught. What the guru is doing to the disciple, he is completely infected by Brahman. And the student is willingly coming and asking for that infection. Please pass on that. Please pass on that infection. And the guru says, I will pass it on. And passing it on is a unique method of teaching. A very unique method of teaching. What is a unique method? A situation is created. What is a situation? The presence of the teacher is a situation. To push you into a situation where it can happen. Create a situation, push you into a situation where it can happen to you. And when it happens to you, you cannot say, I know it. This is what people have been doing it this is what people has been doing it in the past this is what people has been knowing it in the past. And the same thing is what I know. The same thing is what? Therefore, iti sushruma purvesham means I have not known it as though it is my discovery. It's not that it's my discovery for me to say I know it. Because discovery means, invention means that which is not there, you come up with something. You can, that's why they say, don't invent lie. They say, no. Have you ever heard that statement? Don't invent lies. Because lies can be invented. The truth can only be told and repeated again and again and again. In a very ingenious way, you can lie. In new methods, you can lie. But you can never say the truth in the new methods. The truth can only be repeated. And the way the Purvesham has repeated is so good. The way the Purvesham has repeated is so wonderful. It is so beautiful just to repeat it and say, this is it. There's no need to sit and discover a new word. There's no need to sit and discover a new jargon. There's no need to sit and discover a new thing. But today is the world where everything has to be new and original. You write a book, the person writes a book and then he gives the books to you. And you read the book and you say, what is in this book? I already know it, and so many people has already written about it. What will you feel? What will that author feel? What will that author feel? Very hurt, because the originality is not recognized. Here, if anybody is saying anything original in Vedanta, carefully follow Ram Subramaniam. Vedanta original, we dismiss it. If anybody comes and says anything original in Vedanta, we will not listen to that person. Why? Venkatachalam, you understand that, no? We should not say anything original, because there is nothing original to be told. That which is there already, all that you got to do is what? They have taught us this, they have taught us this in the most fantastic way. All the ideal words, the best words are already used. And I'm so grateful, and I'm so motivated, and I'm so grateful just to repeat those words. I don't have to come and say anything new. Yeah. Be happy in Sonapuram. Be contented in Sonapuram. You don't have to say cool. You don't have to say chill. In the drama, all these egoistic things happens in the materialistic knowledges only. When it comes to the Veda Anta, Anantavai Veda, to Veda Anta we are coming. When it comes to Veda Anta, there's no need to be original, there is no need to be all that. All that you can do is what? It has been said by those who preceded us. It has been known to those who preceded us. It means it has always been known. It means it has always been known. That which is not known, I discovered. The ego wants to claim originality. The ego wants to claim originality and say, even here, my ego will want to claim originality. What? Whatever it is, everybody has described, everybody has commented at all on Kenopanisad and all. But the way that I described Viditam, Aviditam, nobody has said it. It says again the same stupid ego playing, again the same stupid ego playing the game. Every author, every thinker, every human being tries to prove somehow that whatsoever they are saying is original. It's a disease of the ego. The disease of the ego is trying to prove to be original. In the West, they will say, if you are not saying anything original, then what is the use of saying it? That is the West. In the East, if you are saying something original, East will say, wait, wait, wait. It will say, wait. Ponder over it. Do not assert it. Do not say it. Because if it is original, then something is wrong with it. Something is wrong with it if it is original. The truth is eternal. How can it be original? It is eternal. Whoever experienced Brahman, it's the same. The experience of Brahman of Yajnavalkya and the experience of Brahman of Maitreyi is not different. There's no male Brahman and female Brahman here. The experience of Brahman for somebody in Africa versus the experience of Brahman for somebody in Australia. That doesn't change, does it? In that sense, where is the originality? In that sense, where is it? Therefore, he says, Iti Sushruma Purvesham. Iti Sushruma Purvesham Enas Tadvyacha Chakshire. Up to this we have covered. Correct? Huh? Now we'll go to the next mantra. Next mantra.
Yad vachanabhyutitam yena vagavyudhyate युध्यते तदेव ब्रह्मत्वं विद्धि नेदं यदि तमुपासते यद्वाचानभ्युदितं येन वाक्युध्यते तदेव ब्रह्मत्वं विद्धि नेदं यदि तमुपासते.
That which cannot be expressed by speech, that by which speech is expressed, know that alone to be Brahman, not this which people worship, not this which worship people. That which cannot be expressed by speech, that by which speech is expressed, know that alone to be Brahman, not this which people worship. Shrotrasya Shrotram Narunchtu, he has come to say Tadeva Brahma. The word Brahman is introduced. What is said as Shrotrasya Shrotram has shifted to that Shrotrasya Shrotram has become Brahma now. Tadeva Brahmatvam Viddhi Nedam Yadidam Upasate. Now, this is going to be the theme for the next 4 or 5 mantras. Same thing is going to repeat. Tadeva Brahmatvam Viddhi Nedam Yadidam Upasate. Mantra 5 to mantra 9. This is the repetition. And I said sometime back in the passing that Tadeva Brahma is the Mahavakya of Kenopanisad. Why it is called Mahavakya? Because directly he says Tat Eva Brahman. That alone is Brahman. Tat Eva Brahma. Tat Eva Brahma. Tat Eva Brahma. Na idam upasate. Na idam upasate. The biggest problem of the so-called pseudo-Vedantins is misunderstanding these verses, these mantras. The biggest problem of the so-called Vedantins, which is all pseudo. You understand the word pseudo, no? Appear to be, but actually not. Why? Because they say, see, Upanishad itself has said, Tadeva Brahmatvam Viddhi Nedam Yadidam Upasate. Tadeva Brahmatvam Viddhi Nedam Yadidam Upasate. Therefore, all this is wrong. The same, all this is wrong means all the worship, the rituals, the prayers, the karma, everything is wrong. Therefore, you don't have to do anything. Simply know Brahman, you become liberated. How can you simply know Brahman? Unless the person has gone through all the preparations. Now, connect these 5 mantras to the introduction we gave. A person who has done the sadhana chatushtaya and all that and have come to that level alone is qualified to understand this statement. Tadeva Brahmatvam Viddhi Nedam Yadidam Upasate is a very specific advice given to whom? Given to that qualified student. Don't take it out of context. Yesterday we said that also. Clearer thinking means understanding it in the context. This is an example where things will be taken out of context and all that will be demolished. Misunderstanding what people did. They said, therefore all these all these rituals and prayers and worships and karma yoga and all that is useless. Upanishad is calling it as useful at one level and useless at another level. Please understand. That which is useful at one level is useless at another level. So you need to understand from what level it is useful and what level it is useless. Even though we are sitting and understanding Upanishad, even though we are trying to understand and get inspired by the Upanishad, we cannot take the stance and say this the karma portion of it is useless. Karma bhakti combination, karma upasana combination. Nedam yadidam upasate. First thing that you have to understand is in Vedantic language, in the Upanishadic language, when they say karma, upasana is included in that. When they say upasana, karma is included in that. Because karma and upasana are two sides to the same coin. Whenever they use the word upasana, karma is included in that. Whenever they say karma, upasana is included in that. So, karma and upasana, the combination of karmopasana. The combination of karma and upasana. Karma means karma yoga. Karma means here, whenever we talk about karma, what is implied? Karma yoga is very clear. And what is karma yoga? Yajna karma. That's very clear. What is karma yoga? Yajna karma. There is no karma yoga other than yajna karma. Since it is difficult to understand yajna karma, nitya naimittika karma. Since it is difficult to understand yajna karma, it will be further elaborated as. Please understand, it's an elaboration only, not additional, different. Nitya naimittika karma. But then there are so many other things, no, sir. That those are all nishiddha karma, those are all common. So the very word karma here is what the Upanishad dismisses it as karma upasana. The way the Purva portion takes it up and elaborates it. Takes it up, elaborates it, guides us through into this. And how does the karma portion start? First it will say, stop gathering, stop accumulating papam, at least work for punyam. That is the first lesson. The first lesson is make an attempt to acquire punyam. You can never tell the person make an attempt to do papam. You don't have to tell that. You don't have to teach that person that, isn't it? Because that person already is in papam only. Therefore, the starting point of Vedic education is from where? Papam, selfishness. Selfishness is the papam. What else is the sin? What else is the sin? Selfishness. Or all papam comes out of this one thing called selfishness. Therefore, first lesson it teaches is from papam, move to punyam. Right. Correct. And then they will start doing all punya karma activities. What is punya karma activities? Donate a tube light to the temple. It's okay to write your name also on that. First to donate. First to give. Are you able to follow? In giving, arrogance and all will come. Later on we will deal. First, in the beginning itself, don't ask how to give don't ask all that. Because that is, you can't put the cart before the horse. In that way, Veda is very scientific. That way, Veda is very, very scientific. The way in which we are doing things is so unscientific. And we think we are very scientific. What to do? Yeah. The the blindness is so prevalent that it's impossible even to say anything. Are you able to follow? So first thing is gather punyam. And what is gathering punyam means? When you do an unselfish action, ego will be there. It's okay. It's okay. Because that punyam is that which gives some mental peace and stability, and that peace and stability is necessary to go to the next level. Are you able to follow? In the agitated state, nothing can be done. You can't, to an agitated, selfish person, you can't say Tadeva Brahmatvam Viddhi Nedam Yadidam Upasate and all that. They will understand, and nothing. So what they did, Vedas, first thing, from Papam, come to Punyam. And what is Punyam means? Do Dhanam, Yajna, Dhanat, all that. I'm not getting into that details. Do Punyam. After gathering enough Punyam, after persuading the person, after motivating the person to gather enough Punyam, and after that person gathered Punyam. சும்மா கிளாஸ்ல உட்கார்ந்து புண்ணியம் புண்ணியம்னு கேட்ட ஆளுக்கு பிரயோஜனம் கிடையாது. You understand, no, Vijay? Not the fellow who has heard about punyam a lot. The fellow who has accumulated punyam a lot. There's a difference between the two. Are you able to understand the difference? One fellow has heard, do charity, do charity, do charity. Another fellow has actually done some charity. So there is a difference. So for the one who has accumulated a lot of punyam and having come to this, for the one who has gathered, for the one who has accumulated, for the one who has gathered a lot of punyam, to that accumulator of punya, to the one who has gathered a lot of punya, the Upanishad says, Angada, it's very irritating. The Upanishad says, oh fool, foolish fellow, kshine punye. Now that fellow will get very irritated only. And that irritation is understandable, isn't it? Make me do all this, having gathered all the punya. Now I am looking for a certification that I am the punyavan, and this is the right, and this is permanent. All that I thought I will get. When I think I am going to get that, what is that? When I think that punyam is going to be, the state of punyam is going to be permanent, there Upanishad comes and says, Mudaha, oh fool. Don't you know what? That fellow will turn back and say, now what? Now what? Kshine punye. That which is the product of action will diminish. Don't you know that? Don't you understand that? Then why did you ask me to do this? Natural question, no? What is the answer that Veda will give to that? To understand this answer, you should have done all that. Unless you have done all this and come here, you can never understand this answer. Kshine punye, that which is a product of action, will diminish, cannot be understood by one who has not done it. Therefore, kshine punye. Now that fellow is irritated. Now what do I do? Don't change the actions, change the purpose. Continue to do yajna dana tapas only. Adu change pannadunga. Continue to do that, but change the purpose. What is the purpose? From punya karma, shift it to chitta shuddhi. Self-development. Nowadays, modern day word is self-development. Self-management. Self. Wherever I used to rephrase it in my head so many times, self-management, self-development. I put it as ego development. Ego than developer. Nothing is happening, isn't it? Chitta Shuddhi. So he's saying, do the same actions, but for Chitta Shuddhi. Why Chitta Shuddhi? Because even after doing Punya Karma, going to heaven, you are still sitting in fear, jealousy, anger, hatred. No. That's why all the Puranic stories will talk about Indra getting jealous. And that same Indra we are going to see in Kenopanisad also. We will discuss a lot about Indra. Same Indra is in here. The same Indra is coming in this Upanishad. And when we go there, we'll discuss. Which month are we in now? July, yeah. Okay. Maybe we will meet Indra only in September, October. We will meet him only in September, October. I don't know when we will meet. Definitely that time only. That time only July, then August, September, October only we will meet that person Indra. So the Vedas say, okay, you are in Swarga. You have gathered Punya, you are in Swarga. But still, that anger is there, fear is there, jealousy is there. That's why you find all the Puranic stories will talk about Indra getting jealous. You know how difficult it is to get the post of Indra? Indra post kadigaradella romba kashtam. I don't know. At least I know I am not qualified yet to get that post of Indra still. I'm thinking, when will I become an Indra first? Apra Indra vandu, apra Chitta Shuddhi vandu, mumukshatvam vandu, Brahmanta ponu. Are you able to follow? First I should become an Indra, and then from Indra I should develop this Chitta Shuddhi. Chitta Shuddhi lendu mumukshatva varno, mumukshatva lendu. My God, the route seems to be very long, very painful. Looks like it's not going to happen at all in many janmas, isn't it? But it's not like that. The Upanishad gave us methods, beautiful methods. So the Vedas that said gather Punya now says, oh fool, Kshine Punye. Then what to do? Develop Chitta Shuddhi. What is Chitta Shuddhi? Vivekam, Vairagyam, Shat Sampat, Mumukshatvam is self-development. What does self-development means? Vivekam, Vairagyam, Shat Sampat, Mumukshatvam. Shat Sampat ladam. Shat Sampat is where two beautiful qualities come. Shraddha, Titiksha, oh my God. Shraddha, Titiksha, all that comes in the Shat Sampat. The Titiksha, Shraddha itself looks like enlightenment. It itself looks like enlightenment. And further it goes. I don't know what it is. What that Brahman is so mysterious, it is so mystical it is. So the Upanishad says, develop Chitta Shuddhi. Having developed the Chitta Shuddhi, free from anger, this, that, and all that, now I have become pure. But something is missing still. I have become a pure person in relation to the world and all. I am pure, contented, and I am 3 feet above when everybody is affected by the so-called roads in Madras where there is no road at all, isn't it? They call it as road, but there is no road at all. So when everybody, the fellow going in the BMW back is broken, the fellow going in the auto back is broken, the fellow going in the bus back, because there's no road. Yeah. This fellow is 3 feet above the ground. cruising, isn't it? That fellow is cruising. Who's this person who's cruising now? Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampat. Cruising, going. Is this it? Is this it? Upanishad turn back and say, don't you have it inside? I have it. What is it? Mumukshatva. Mumukshatva. With that mumukshatva, the question, Keneshitam padati preshitam manaha, kenaf pranaf pratama praiti yuktaha, keneshidam vachamimam vadanti, chakshushrotram kaudevo yunakti. Having gone through all this process, the person has come. In Upanishad, who's the context? A person who has done all this and risen to that level is the context. So, from mantras 5 to 8, from mantras 5 to 8, it is going to be said, Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi Nedam Yadidam Upasate, Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi Nedam Yadidam Upasate, has to be understood in the context of that Upanishadic student, not to be generally taken as dismissing those disciplines, dismissing those disciplines, dismissing those practices of karma, bhakti, etc., karma, upasana, etc. Are you follow? To say that only I gave such a, otherwise what happens is, I have heard any number of interpretations. Straight away they take the highest stance and they assume that all this is wrong, all this is wrong, all this is wrong, dismissed everything, ridiculed everything, and they turn back and ask now what to do. No, you are Brahman. The question is how to know. Question is, how do I know? Unless I go through these things. So, with this background, we are going to study the 5 mantras today and tomorrow. With this background, we'll be studying the 5 mantras for today and tomorrow. Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi Nedam Yadidam Upasate is common. So the first line of the mantras only is going to be, will be different. The second line of the mantra is going to be the same. The first line of the mantra alone will differ from mantra to mantra, 5 to 9. So what is that? Yat vachana bhyuditham ena vaga bhyudyate. That which cannot be expressed by speech, that which is expressed, that which cannot be expressed by the speech. That which enables you to speak cannot be spoken about. That which enables the speech cannot speak about it. The torchlight can light everything except its own batteries. If you take the battery out and put it in front of torch, what happens? See, this torchlight is showing everything, but I want to see the battery. So what do? You remove the battery and put it in front of the torch. Immediately what happens? The torch stops functioning. This is Ramatirtha's example, not my example. He gives this example. Ramatirtha gives this example. It is like the torchlight cannot turn back and light its own batteries. The torch that can light everything cannot touch batteries. That which cannot be expressed by speech, that by which speech is expressed. Speech refers to the organs of action. When one organ is used, the collective group has to be understood. That's a typical language. They don't have to list out everything. Sometimes they will list, sometimes they will not, sometimes they will not list. And also we should understand all these are spontaneous talks recorded. It's not somebody sat and wrote, revisited it, wrote it again, made it. It's not all that. It's a spontaneous, all Upanishads are spontaneous discourses. Somebody recorded it, and that recording is what? Is being replayed. And that recording is replayed again and again and again. So, speech is one of the organs of action. Brahman causes the organs of action to function. It is that which causes the organs of action to function, and that cannot be known by any action. That which cannot be known by speech means that which cannot be known by any type of action. Why? Because action is what? Action means creation, destruction, modification, movement, cleansing. Action has only these functions. Action has only these functions. You create something, or that which is created, you destroy it, or you can modify it, take it from one place to the another place. Fifth one is cleansing it. So action is only of these five. Now, you cannot create Brahman. Take all that five and see, can Brahman be connected to any of that? Can you create Brahman? Swayam prakashate Atma. Iti Shrushtama Purvesham. They have said it very clearly. Swayam prakashate Atma. Yajnavalkya very clearly has said it. Therefore, it is not creation. Can it be destroyed? Weapons do not cut it. Bhagavad Gita, Kenopanisad. Actually, it is from Kenopanisad. Weapons do not cut it. It means it cannot be destroyed. 3. Can it be modified? Modification. From the apple fruit to apple jam. That's modification. You know that, no? Something is there, 4 or 5 things, you put it together and modify it, and then you say it is something. Just you added up a few things. Sugar is separate, apple is separate. I don't know what all goes into making. I don't know what all goes into making all this stuff. So you put all that modification, that is. So creation is not possible. Destruction is not possible. Modification is not possible. Another thing about action is movement from place to a place. Movement from place to place. That being all pervading, how can it, going to where you can locate Brahman? In my house, it is impossible to locate Brahman, sir. In my house, it is impossible to locate Brahman. Therefore, Vedanta Academy, I'll go and locate Brahman. Rajkumar. அப்படிலாம் கிடையாது. Vedanta Academy, I'll go and locate Brahman. Why? Because in my house, Brahman is impossible. And Shubhato, oh my God, impossible, isn't it? How can Brahman be known? So you cannot travel from one place to another place, find and locate Brahman. So the fourth aspect of action is also dismissed. Fifth is Chitta Shuddhi, no, sir? Pure Chitta Shuddhi is only to make you understand pure you are already. It is not that it's not that you purified it. To recognize that pure you are already, you went through that. Therefore, you don't Brahman, you don't clean Brahman. There's no refined pure Brahman, isn't it? Brahman is Brahman ever Shuddham. That's why it's called ever. It is Nirmalam. It's ever, it never got dirty. The potential of getting dirty doesn't exist at all. Therefore, it is that being Nirmala. How can you understand? Therefore, speech cannot take you to Brahman. When speech cannot take you to Brahman means none of the process that talks about action can take you to Brahman. Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi Nedam Yadidam Upasate. Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi Nedam Yadidam Upasate. This is one meaning. Nedam Yadidam Upasate has another meaning also. Another meaning of Nedam Yadidam Upasate is that which is given to you as a symbol is not understood. The symbolism is not understood. The symbolism is not understood, but practices are continued. That is wrong. That's the second meaning. Nedam Yadidam Upasate. You follow what I'm saying? Nedam Yadidam Upasate means the symbolism is not understood. Entire Upasana, Bhakti is symbolic by nature. Entire Upasana is symbolic by nature. You can, and you know, all symbolisms can be made into a mockery, a joke, and proved it is wrong. Superstition, you can do that to symbolism. If you don't understand the symbolism, everything can be proven as wrong. Or it can be, it could be ridiculed. Rajkumar. இதெல்லாம் தான் வாட்ஸ்அப்ல ஃபார்வர்ட் பண்ணுவாங்க எல்லாரும் சிம்பிளிசம் புரியாம அதுக்கு why is your BP rising? His BP is only rising. Why is your BP rising? Because once if the symbolism is not understood, everything can be ridiculed. The first god that we encounter in life and start all the puja and rituals is Ganesha, correct? And you know Ganesha doesn't have six packs, no? He's not a fit god. You know that, right? Ganesha is not a fitness freak. Ganesha doesn't go to gym. Ganesha is not fit because he is, yeah. Tondi Ganapati, Tamil pere or he has to have a pot bellied. Pot bellied is the god, and he is the Vigna Ishwara. Our Pathale first looks like you feel like telling him, you get up and walk first. You get up and walk first and do something before removing our Vigna. Ganesha is that huge pot bellied person. Just as we need vehicles, God also needs vehicles to move around, isn't it? Gods also need vehicles to move around. And the vehicle for that pot-bellied, elephant head, pot-bellied, what an ugly creature it is. For that, Narayana, but that's how it is. For that elephant head, pot-bellied creature, called Ganesha, which you call it as God. What is his vehicle? What is his vehicle? They say rat. Rat is a family. There are very many rats in sizes. Family means different sizes. Cat family, they say, no, tiger is also a cat. The local cat is also a cat family. Now, what it means is, and the vehicle for Ganesha is a rat, the tiniest rat. You know, in the rat family itself, there is the tiniest rat. The tiniest rat is his vehicle. If that fellow sits on that, what will happen? Crushed. You can make a mockery of the whole thing and take out all the understanding about Ganesha. That is not the way it is. So Upasana comes in with a lot of symbolism behind it. Tomorrow we will see that. Tomorrow we are going to study a little bit about symbolism, rightly, so that we understand Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi Nedam Yadidam Upasate. Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi. Otherwise, what happens? Everything about symbolism can be ridiculed. Here, it is the idols, the personalities, the symbols is not God. It is a symbolic representation because human mind needs symbols, symbolic representations. Muhammad said there are no symbols for God. And what did they do? What did they do? All of them are looking in the direction of that stone, isn't it? Which is a symbol again. Which is a symbol? Which is a symbol again. Are you able to follow? Again, it's a symbol. Buddha said, no symbols, no idols, no rituals. Buddha said it very clearly because his whole rebellion is against the his whole rebellion is against the rituals and the idols. Now what they did? Buddha has become an idol. If agarbatti is not shown to Ganesha or other god, agarbatti is shown to Buddha. It means humans cannot escape symbols. At one level, human beings need it, they cannot escape it. Upanishads understanding this, the Vedas understanding this, introduced a lot of symbolisms at one stage and then said, drop it also at another stage. It introduced it at one stage and it said, drop it also at another stage. When it introduced, who's the context? When all this is introduced, who's the context? Papi is the context. Papi is the context for which all this is introduced. Who's the context for which all this is? Who's the context for which all this is dismissed? Mumukshu. For Papi, all this is necessary. For a Mumukshu, all this is not necessary. Understand the difference. Don't generally say it is all superstition, not needed at all. Don't generalize and say it is needed also. The context. Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi Nedam Yadidam Upasate. Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi Nedam Yadidam Upasate. Little bit of symbolism we will see tomorrow, because that is also very, very important. And then, don't worry, little bit only when I say we will see, Sai, September, October, part 3 and part 4 of Kena is only symbolism. When we go there, oh my God, we have a lot to talk about symbolism there in detail. We have a lot to talk about symbolism there in detail when we go there. Are you able to follow? But here it's only this. What? Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi Nedam Yadidam Upasate. Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi Nedam Yadidam Upasate. The first sentence said, Yat Vachanabhyudidam Yena Bhagabhyudhyate. Abhyudhyate. Abhyudhyate means that which is expressed. Anabhyuditam means cannot be expressed. Abhyuditam, anabhyuditam. Viditam, aviditam. Throughout that is the same play. That's why viditam, aviditam, that abhyuditam, so they will just bring in the word. They will just prefix the word and they keep going on again and again and again. Yadvachanabhyuditam yena bhagabhyudyate. When we chant it, we will not know the segregations. It looks very lyrical. Chanting lyrical is to memorize. After memorize, sit and break it up. When you break it up, yat vachaha anabhyuditam yena va abhyudyate, meaning that which cannot be expressed by speech, that by which speech is expressed. Know that to be Brahman. Tat eva Brahma. Tat eva Brahma is a Mahavakya. Why? Because immediately he says, Tvam vitti, know that. Since a command is given, know that, it gives you give it a status of a Mahavakya. Are you able to follow? Why do we say it's a Mahavakya? Because tat eva Brahma. Tvam vitti. Tvam vitti means you should know. What you should know? That alone as Brahman. Tadeva Brahma. Tat eva Brahma. Tat eva Brahma. What is that tat? Tvam. You are that. What is that tat Brahma? To Shvetaketu, what is tat is said. To Shvetaketu, that tat is Brahman. To Shvetaketu, it is told as Tvam, you. That which is called as tat Brahma becomes Tvam, you. And then I am Atma Brahma. And then finally, Aham Brahma Asmi. I am Atma Brahma, Aham Brahma Asmi. The Mahavakyas. Yadvachanabhyuditam yena bhagabhyudyate tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam yadidam upasate. That which cannot be expressed by speech, that by which speech is expressed, know that alone to be Brahman, not this. This which people worship. He's only saying this, that, this, that, this, that. Again, typical Upanishad this. Will not this and that. What is this? What is that? They can straight away say no. Know that to be Brahman, not this. Idam. Again, idam na upasate. Upasate, not. Upasate means worshipping. Na means not. First he is saying not this. To emphasize it, again he says idam na idam upasate. To emphasize this, again he is saying, not this which people worship. Upasate means the combination of karma, upasana, karmopasana combination. Karmopasana combination, which is taken as the end in itself. Just as punyam is taken as an end in itself, karmopasana will be taken as an end in itself. The moment you take it as an end in itself, they come and they will correct it. The moment you take it as an end in itself, they will come and correct it. Tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam yadidam upasate. Tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam yadidam upasate. With this, we conclude for today. Tomorrow we'll continue, and tomorrow will be the last day of this session. So I correct, no? Yeah. Yes. With this, we conclude for today.